Welcome back, everybody, to episode 199 of Comics Pop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Niko, and joining with me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited. We're going to hit that episode 200 next episode, guys, so make sure to tune in for that. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. This is our weekly comic book review show. You can check back in with us week to week and see what we've been reading. We give you our thoughts and reviews and ratings on these things. So, we take a look at some of the comic book art. Sometimes we talk about comic book news and things of that nature. All kinds of different stuff, show off some hauls, some cool covers of things that we picked up lately. So yeah, check in here week to week. Check out some of the other content here on the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the new comics that came out for the week of October 1st, 2025. And spoiler warning, as always, for 199 episodes now. If you haven't learned it by now, I don't know. Because if you're worried about getting spoiled, you can always read your books and then come back and check us out. Check out the episodes. They're not going anywhere. They just sit here on the channel. So if you're that worried, read your stuff and then come back and check it. Check out what we had to say about it later. All right, Chris.
All right, let's talk comics. 199. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. All right. First up on the docket here today, we got Absolute Evil #1.
Got my issue here somewhere. There it is. Just the A cover.
Yeah, same. What'd you think, Chris?
Well, I think a lot has been said about this comic. I kind of have to go into some in-depth detail just to figure out everything, kind of what's going on and who's who and what's what. I think the story's pretty decent, kind of just gives some history of this absolute world. I know it's all that needed, but there is some crazy stuff here, like this stuff with Green Arrow and what they do to him. That's like, whoa, that was a big moment in this comic here that threw you for a loop.
So I have a question about that. Am I misremembering this, or did they or didn't they announce a Absolute Green Arrow series and then cancel it? Did that happen?
I know they canceled it, but I know they announced one. Maybe it's going to be a different Green Arrow.
No, I thought that because I thought that they did announce it, and then before it came out, it got canceled. I'm gonna have to look that up because I'm like, because it couldn't have been because of what happened here, because they had already planned this.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. I just thought that was kind of funny because I remember hearing that a series was going to come out, and then this version here, whoever this is, gets killed in this issue. Like you said, that was pretty crazy when that happened. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's just hard to kind of figure out who each villain sort of belonged to. It's a lot of it hasn't been really sort of put out there yet. And kind of who's who. None of these villains are in costumes. They're all sort of sitting around this round table, all in suits. I think every time the Joker speaks, they always kind of remind, oh, he doesn't like to joke, and oh, it's the Joker. But otherwise, I thought it was a decent story. I think, I don't know if it had to be its own one shot, instead of having all these dream sequences or flashbacks in the other comics, they could easily fit this in the other three, like the Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Batman, and fit it in there, and could have had a great effect. But otherwise, it was an okay story.
Yeah, I'm not upset that I grabbed it. I'm not upset that I read it. Yeah, I think that you could have skipped this, and then I think you would have been fine within the whatever Absolute series that you're reading. But this does kind of show you that now all the villains, the significant villains so far that have appeared within those series, are coming together, and that's basically the big takeaway from this, is that they're kind of joining forces here, and whatever they have planned coming down the pipe, I guess we'll see later in the series, right? Because I'm sure that's kind of just building up the possibility of a crossover with these people, or at least the knowledge that this is a interconnected universe. We do know that Wonder Woman is going to be crossing over with Batman, I think, in the next issue or two. We do know that already. They've announced that. So, we're finally kind of seeing seeing things happening here. And I think where they left Superman this week, which we'll talk about later, finally, I feel like we're moving into an interesting direction there as well, too, because that book's been kind of dragging its feet as of late. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I like this world that they've been building. I think overall the books have been pretty successful, and I'm happy about the Absolute books, honestly. Like, I thought that I was really worried about the quality of these titles, or how interested I would be. Here we are a year into it at this point, essentially, right? So I'm still very much interested in what's happening in most of these titles. So yeah, that's a good thing. That's the best thing I could say about this, honestly.
Well, I do like how all the villains kind of come together to become the Justice League. I just hope the heroes don't come together, become like the Legion of Heroes or something, to be the opposite of the Justice League. But we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the little twist for the Absolute side of stuff is, they've joined forces, become the Justice League before the good guys. And that Hawkman in this too was pretty cool looking. I like that as well. And I guess there's kind of like a reference of like an older heroes like from back in the day, almost like a JSA of sorts here in this book as well. They kind of showed like in the 50s at the start, they opened up with the fact that there was heroes around. So that was kind of cool too. So I mean, this is definitely not some half-ass kind of, they really are building a whole other DC universe with this. And like, I feel like they have a chance to go even further with this than like the Ultimate stuff has been with this more recent Ultimates, Marvel relaunch, essentially, right? So I think there's a lot of hope for the future of this these books, so we'll see. What'd you give this?
I give it 3.75.
Yeah, agreed. All right, next up we got Justice League the Omega Act #1, setting up another DC event of sorts here. This is the KO lead-in.
Enough of these setups already. Like, how many issues are setting everything up? They've been setting this up for forever, and I still don't even see how this Justice League KO event's playing out, because the way they've been selling this thing is just going to be the heroes battling heroes, and there's no indication or inclining about how that's even going to work in this. That's what I was hoping for here, but what you get is the Time Trapper taking Booster Gold into the future, and then the Flash kind of tags along there, and I think they see some of the future Legion or Darkseid's Legion there kind of fighting. And I don't know, I guess all this stuff is supposed to be relevant, but it wasn't what I was hoping for. It's still a nice looking comic, and but there was nothing, there was no big information that I was looking for, leading up to the event. Basically at the end of this, they come back to their own time, and it just says, oh yeah, preview for we'll see you with DCKO.
This is literally one scene that they didn't include, let's say, in the last issues we talked about with the Superman and Justice League books. Now that Booster Gold is there with them, where we left him from Superman and the Justice League books, the only thing that they added on to that was him talking to Time Trapper, and then Time Trapper saying like to the Justice League, you have to listen to this guy, and then he's like, we're gonna have to work together, and then it's like next week DCKO. I'm just like, that's literally what this was. Like, this is not important at all. You pretty much got there almost 90% of the way on the last things that we read last week with Superman and Justice League. I'm glad I didn't buy this. I'm glad I didn't fall for this one. I read it digitally to talk about here on the show, but that's all this was. It was kind of like a very unnecessary opportunity to sell another comic here, honestly. That's all it was. I mean, I'm interested to see what happens with KO, but that's the only takeaway from this book. Time Trapper is working with, or Keeper, or whatever the friggin' his name is. What is it? Keeper, Trapper?
Whatever, the Time Trapper. Trapper, Keeper, who knows?
Is helping them out, and they're working together. That's basically it, to take down Darkseid. That's the big takeaway from this book.
So. Oh, and then there's that stuff in the past too with what's her name, and they find like a Darkseid, I don't know, cryptor, I don't know, like some sort of machine or something. I don't know what
the Omega symbol. That is it has something to do with the whole Omega symbol with Darkseid's power and all that. So That's kind of referenced here. And I'm sure, yeah, that will play in, I'm sure, at some point of the event. But I mean, again, just totally unnecessary.
Yeah, they're stringing the story out way too long.
Yeah.
3.5 for me, man.
Yeah, I honestly could even go 3.25 because it really didn't add much. But you
Yeah.
said there was some decent art. But yeah, 3.5 is the highest I can go on this out of 5. Yeah. Next up, X-Men Age of Revelation Overture #1. I got this art germ variant here of Psylocke.
Yeah, of course, you know us.
Yeah. You got
From covers, what can you do?
I mean, I gotta get the Psylocke cover, right? I collect those,
Yep.
so there you go.
I can put together a nice collection of Psylocke covers, I think, sooner or later. But I think it's a decent story. The art is great in here.
Yeah.
But why can't they just make freaking the X-Men comic good and not worry about all this stuff jumping freaking 10 years into the future? You'll jump into some world where everything's gone batshit crazy there. I just wanted to make freaking the regular X-Men comics good and have a, in canon storyline right now that's worth reading. Like, it did kind of grab my attention as to what's going on here. But I hated what I see the X-Men portrayed as villains, and I kind of see who the good guys are. The big reveal there's a freaking, they keep on referencing this Angel of Death to come out. You always expect it to be Archangel, and it turns out to be Wolverine with a freaking silver mask on his face, and he's out there freaking killing everybody. I think it just tries to explain. At least this does explain sort of what's happened to the world and where everybody is in this world. But I don't know, man.
I really actually enjoyed this. I was down on this as a whole. You know this. We talked about the lead up of all the books announced for this. And at the end of the day, this is basically just them doing another Age of Apocalypse for the modern day and taking a break from the X books for a few months. And you know what? I'm not mad at that because I had fun with this, and they shoot you into the future with a possibility of these events happening and these characters being where they are. Some things, like, because they're just throwing you right into them, I just kind of went with it. Like, some things I'm like, yeah, some things were a little confusing. Some things you're like kind of wondering how certain things got the way that they how things happened the way they did. And you know what? That's the fun part about these type of stories in the future and like the Elseworld stuff and this kind of stuff. Like you sometimes, you just got to go with it. You don't need to explain it all for me to really enjoy certain aspects of it. And like you said, Stegman killed this issue. I thought he did a great job on the art. There's a lot of really great layouts and scenes that he really was able to kind of to illustrate in this one that I guess McKay kind of set up for him. It looks like he had a lot of fun showing these new versions of the characters in the future. I dug this, actually. This was a surprise, and I was really down on this. And I'm just like, okay, by about halfway through, I was like, I'm actually really enjoying this. This was the surprise of the week, I'd say, for me, how much I enjoyed this between the art and just because it was a future X-Men story. That's not going to matter in a few issues. But, listen, I'm enjoying it for the time being. I dug this a lot.
Yeah, so you might already have to enjoy it for what it is. I just don't appreciate it because there's no stakes involved. Like, doesn't Magneto get freaking wiped out here in the first issue? I think someone else gets blasted away. And everything's gonna, however the story ends, they're gonna be able to reset time and go back to their world and go, oh, we better not do that again.
That's exactly what I like about it, Chris, because, like, let's be honest, the books haven't been good right now. This is almost like, you know what? Let's just shake things up and tell like this fun little story aside from like everything happening within our books because they suck right now.
Yeah, well, that's what I say. They got to fix their books before they jump into something like this.
I'm in for these 3 issues or whatever it is now because this is like the setup. I'm gonna be getting the McKay books. I've already like seen some of the covers for those books that I like, so I'm getting them. Like I
am in though too. Like there are a bunch of covers that are coming out.
Yeah.
And I guess it is a good thing because all those other side comics, I guess they're only 3 issues, so it's not a great investment of time. It's not going to last too long.
It's Age of Apocalypse. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what they did with that.
But they've got Age of Apocalypse running right now too.
But I know that is ridiculous. Like, I think they basically do that just to confuse people. Where like they're like, "What is this new Age of Apocalypse? Oh, look, classic Age of Apocalypse." Like, I'd rather grab that. Like, it's totally ridiculous when they do shit like that. Yeah, I think it's just like a cash grab to see if they can sell more books or fool people almost. Trust me, do not get those books, guys. I mean, but then the one you just talked about that they did has the Simone DeMio art on it that looked great. Jeff Loeb's writing it. See, they're just cashing in the idea that we're gonna just bring back the original Age of Apocalypse as well. So, I mean, I didn't read that one, but I can't hate on the fact that like it looked good. Like I thought that book looked great when we talked about it, but.
Yeah.
But this was good. I like this. I actually was very surprised. And, I was not very excited for this. Like, with all the lead up that we've been talking about this, I'm like, I don't know. I guess we'll try this out just because the books have been so shit for the last little while now, right? And I've totally lost interest in McKay's current run. So this didn't require any of that prior knowledge, honestly. Like, I think there was even like another setup issue I didn't even bother reading. I just jumped in with this, and I actually thought this was enjoyable. So
yeah.
What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75 just because the story is entertaining and it's good art. Great art.
I'll go 4 on this. 4 out of 5. I can even go 4.25, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
Let's not get crazy.
All right, I got a few books here I read this week. So quick hits. DC Satanic Panic #1. I got this Daniel Warren Johnson disgusting fucking plastic man body horror cover. I forgot I pre-ordered this, but I guess I got it based off the DWJ variant here, which I quite like. I mean, this is their Halloween anthology here that we're getting a little early in the month of October. This Bermejo cover here was nice too. That wasn't bad, but I got this DWJ one. But you know me, I'm not a huge fan of anthologies, and I will say there's about 2 stories by artists I really like. That was, I don't want to say it's worth the price of admission because this is like a $9 comic or a $10 comic. What is this? $10. But between the 2 stories, I kind of want to check out the art on and the cover, and maybe one or 2 of the other stories. It was okay. Like I mean, listen, the John McCrae one, he drew the first one, Zatanna story. This one wasn't bad. A lot of the writers I didn't really recognize in this, though. I think this is probably like a lot of new writers or tryout type stuff. But this one was decent. I liked the Zatanna story at the start. Then you got a Batman story that it was kind of lacking of a story, but the art looked fantastic. I'm not familiar with this artist. Like, look at the colors on the art on this guy. It's like, this is by like 2 Italian people, Roberto Riccioni and Luigi Cavanago. I don't know. They must be tapping all of Italy for their artists lately because I mean, between, Simone that we just saw at Fan Expo, Simone DeMio, like this looked great. I'd never seen this artist or heard of this guy or this writer, and there wasn't much dialogue to this, but it's like Ouroboros, like the snake that eats its own tail or whatever. Like, there was that, like I said, the story didn't blow me away, but the visuals of it were really cool looking. I was like, this is really unique looking and really cool. I like the color. I guess he did his own colors as well. Really cool look. I wouldn't mind to see that guy on something else, maybe a DC Black Label book or something out there. Just because I don't know if he'd fit like the regular titles, but this was a good showcase of his work. Then he got this story, which was good. This was a DWJ written one, and Riley Rossmo, they're teaming up again. The 2 guys from The Moon is Following Us, and big fan of Rossmo's art. And so I quite like this story. This is the Plastic Man story, which was kind of demented. Like, all these kids in the neighborhood, they go to visit Plastic Man while he's giving out candy on Halloween. And then he does something to the candy. So when they eat it, they start melting and morphing into his body. He absorbs them. And then I'm like, is this actually Plastic Man? I'm like, or is this a bad guy posing as Plastic Man? And then it turns out that it is Plastic Man, but he tricked them so he can use all of their power combined to take down this bad guy. I'm just like, this is really bizarre. And then there's like obviously a body horror element to it. I'm like, okay, this is kind of messed up because he melted kids on Halloween. And at the end, he's just like, thanks for your help, kids. And everyone's like back to normal. And you're like, what? Yeah, we're just like, what the hell? I mean, I can't, I'm sure Dana Warren Johnson was aware of like how weird this story was that he wrote. But yeah, good for a Halloween anthology. And then after that, all the stories kind of sucked until you got to this Andrew McLean drawn one, who I'm a big fan of his art from Headlopper fame. You got Headlopper fame, and other Image stuff he's popped up here and there. Yeah, they got a Warlord story. It's been a while since I've seen that character. Let's see. He's kind of like a sword and sorcery type of character. Then you had an Etrigan story, which again wasn't all that interesting, unfortunately, even though I'm a big fan of Etrigan. It was fine. But then you got this one, the Swamp Thing and Constantine story, drawn and written by Andrew McLean. Quite liked this quite a lot. And really weird. I will say the only thing is Andrew McLean, who's not like a British writer, and a lot of the great British writers who wrote John Constantine actually have a flair for how to write him and his voice. And this is kind of just like, you could just tell it's just like a guy trying to do like a British accent. He's like, oi, my bloody cigarettes. You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, man, like, you're overdoing it a little bit with like the Cockney type of accent thing here with the British, but he tried, but the visuals were really cool. But it was just very apparent that like somebody who doesn't know like how British people talk was writing this. So I'm sure there's some people that were rolling their eyes at this. And I've read enough like Hellblazer comics by English writers and stuff to know that clearly he doesn't have the voice down for him. But anyways, otherwise I like this story a lot. And then there was another story here at the end, which again, I didn't really care for the story. It was a Raven story, but the artist I really liked. What was the artist on this one? Rowan McCull. I'm not familiar with the artist, but I quite like the style of the art. It was pretty interesting looking. So again, a couple new artists actually. Yeah, you know what? The more I talk it up, I will give this a 3 point. You know what? I'm going to go 3.75. I was going to go 3.5 because, again, just a mixed bag anthology, but like I said, I highlighted there's about 4 good artists in this. I didn't care for every story. And then there was the Ambush Bug story at the end where it's kind of like breaking the fourth wall. He's like referencing and walking through the panels of all the stories that you previously read in this issue. That was kind of fun as well. But so yeah, I'll give it 3.75 out of 5. Not bad. Actually, a lot better, I guess, than I gave it credit for at the start. I'm just not usually a huge fan of anthologies. But even the stories I didn't love, I thought had some interesting artists on it. It at least introduced me to 2 new names of artists there, and a couple of really good ones that I bought. The reason I bought this issue, so not bad. Next up, I got Good Devils Don't Play Fair with Evil. I don't have the art for this one. If this kind of went under the radar for you, I almost missed pre-ordering this myself. This is a Nick Dragotta drawn comic. It's like an oversized issue. It combines 3 stories that he did with these characters through like different anthologies that he's done, I guess, over the years and different publications. Things I've never been able to pick up. One of them is like a digital comic, it seems like, and like a couple of like more indie type stuff. So this is, and then he did backups in New Burn, which was an Image series that Chip Zdarsky did. It was like a detective comic, which I didn't pick up the issues of. Which was good, but I didn't pick up the issues, so I didn't read those backups. So yeah, this is basically just all that collected in an issue. I guess they thought it was good enough to put out because, it is Nick Dragotta. And what I liked about this too is each of the 3 different stories that he kind of put these out in different publications, they're all drawn differently. Like the first one's black and white, and he used like all these like, techniques like Zipatone, like he put down on the art, which like a manga, like something they use like in a lot of manga that kind of adds like texture and another layer and color to the art. So he used that on I know he uses that a lot like in his artwork. So that's how he kind of did that one. So it looks like a manga. The second one's in color and again like a lot looser for Nick Dragotta. And then the third one is kind of what his like current style looks like that I would expect again done in black and white. And even in the back of the comic, they mentioned the fact that he did the first one in traditionally, and then he did the other 2 digitally the way he drew it. So it's kind of like a good showcase of like a bunch of different art styles for the same artist, and just like fun fighting stories. This kind of felt like a fighting manga. And then when you get to the end of it, the writer writes, who are the David brothers who wrote this. I'm not familiar who those people are. If it's actually two brothers, I'm not sure. Just as David brothers, but then it basically says like all their stuff that influenced them at the back of the comic, and it's like, yeah, a lot of fighting mangas and things like that. So yeah, this was fun. I liked this. This is a good showcase of Dracata's art. The story is just whatever, but if you like Dracata's art, it's definitely worth picking up. I give it a 3.75 out of 5. Then you got Batgirl number 12. Basically in this one, this is just continuing the story of her trying to track down all these, like, this ancient group of people, assassins that have been trying to track her down and kill her. And now you got the Jade Tiger, who is her half brother, that's been accompanying her. And in this one, she meets up with Talia al Ghul's sister in some sort of ancient temple. They asked her to come there and meet with them, and they're basically teaming up against these group of ancient assassins that are trying to track, I guess, both of them down and kill them. So now Batgirl is going to essentially team up with the bad guys, it seems like, or at least that's where it leads you to believe at the end of the issue. And Jade Tiger is not really a big fan of that, her new half brother that she just discovered. And he's like, why are we teaming up with these people? They're the bad guys. I think this is a bad idea. So that's kind of where we're at. Again, it's just kind of continuing this, almost like Kung Fu kind of epic type movie type vibe that they got going with this, with a lot of fighting, a lot of ancient temples and warriors and stuff like that going on. The art's good. I'm enjoying this. So I give this 3.75 out of 5. Still enjoying this one. And then JSA number 12. This is the end of an arc for this book, where at the end of this, it's Ragnarok Part 2. All these like ancient monster, like Cthulhu looking monsters, they basically got brought to Earth by the bad guys, like the Injustice League or whatever the hell the team they are in this one. And the JSA that have been forming throughout the first couple of arcs here, from all like the time displaced older JSA members with the new current day JSA members, who a lot of them are related, and there's like a legacy aspect as well with like characters who are helping them from beyond the dead. It's just all these different DC legacy type characters from different generational type stuff that come together and take down the bad guys in this one. And the place that they left it is really an interesting setup for the next arc. The Kid Eternity character that he introduced in this, Jeff Lemire, who I think is a character he created. Basically, at the end of the issue, it's the return of the Spectre. The Spectre, who I guess has been imprisoned, the evil entity of the Spectre has been imprisoned somewhere, and he brings her to him, and it looks like she's being possessed by the Spectre at the end of this issue. So it looks like the Spectre's back, who also has, ties to the JSA going into the next arc, and it's kind of taking the spirit of the Spectre is taking over one of these new characters. So, and it really had like a nice family kind of presence to it, like a lot of Jeff Lemire's stuff does. And because there's all these DC legacy type characters that have relations to each other, it kind of really fits the tone of the book, I would say. So here's the Spectre here that shows up. So I'm a huge fan of the Spectre, so I'm interested to see what this new incarnation is going to be. Another 3.75 out of 5. Okay, the only thing I want to say about this is that it was the end of an arc, and a big seat change, big like interesting thing happens at the end of this one, where her brother and Kea and her brother finally part ways. They've been kind of at odds, or she's more so been at odds with his handler, some guy that's trying to like help him with his powers that he's kind of been showing lately, that are starting to he was really young and his powers weren't there at first, and now they're more present. It's almost like he's a mutant, let's say, and he's like, this guy's like trying to show him how to use his powers, and she never trusted this guy. Anyways, they have a falling out of sorts, and they get separated, and at the end of this issue they kind of both go their separate ways. And there's this great double page spread, which I'm just going to jump to. Great art as well from Wes Craig, as always. at the end here, where you see them both kind of taking different paths essentially. So it's shaking things up, and then it kind of, there was like a epilogue there where it hinted that the robot villains are going to be coming back next arc as well. So another 3.75 out of 5. And then one more, Red Hulk number 9. Not much to say about this one either. I think this is one more issue to go with this tie into One World Under Doom. Basically, Red Hulk teamed up with this Captain Riker guy who's been trying to take him out after he got out of Doom's dungeon. It looks like they're finally gonna go up against one another for the final showdown next issue. And this whole time he's been trying to, between Deathlock and Machine Man and everything, they're trying to get everything together in order to go and face, have that final showdown next issue. And that's it's really just kind of an overview of everything that's come to happen so far in this series that's leading up into the conclusion. Not my favorite issue of this series. For that, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. I just feel like this one's been spinning its wheels. I think this whole miniseries could have been like 5-6 issues instead of the 10 that it has been, but it's been an enjoyable series. All right, Chris, Huck, Big Bad World number 5.
What is Mark Millar doing, man? This guy likes to freaking punch you in the gut or freaking stab you in the heart. This whole series, I think before this Huck world came out, I thought Huck was the only superhuman. This one really expanded the world. You meet all these new or other sort of superhero type characters. And I think in this issue, freaking all of them get killed. They got some freaking nuclear bullet or something that they're killing with. Get a lot of exposition, I guess, on the bad guys and why they're doing all this stuff. And finally, they come down to hunt down Huck, and crazy things are happening there too. When they're trying to hunt him down, this force field comes up out of nowhere that protects Huck from that. They are like these nuclear bullets or something that they're shooting all these people with, right?
Yeah.
And then and then he's like, "Oh, what the heck happened there?" And like, I guess he's with his, well, I don't know if it's his girlfriend anymore, but anyways, his friend there that's pregnant with somebody else's baby, and they're trying to, she's like, I didn't think she had any powers, but
no, Chris, is it his baby, or is it, I think it's his baby, is it not?
I thought she got pregnant with the guy she ran away with.
No, so that guy showed back up, and that was her husband from before who left her. But I think up to this point, she was been with Huck, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, maybe well, that makes more sense for sure.
Yeah, it makes sense for the reveal at the end. Maybe that's something we don't know, but it has to be his baby, because what they allude to at the end is that her baby has powers and is doing stuff from the side.
Yeah, this baby's got crazy powers. Because like that one scene here, I think it's gonna be on the next page. You see Huck looking over her shoulder, and they're freaking bringing out the army to get him. Like this is where all the helicopters are all flying over. And he's like, "Oh, what the heck?" And then boom, they all freaking blow up. And then I think his girlfriend is like, "Oof, I think it's the baby." And they were referencing that earlier, is that that's why they're trying to get rid of all these supers here, is to try and kind of maintain the power and the balance of power in their favor. And then if you get these these superheroes having babies, these babies are gonna have powers. And this is just gonna run around unchecked, and who knows what's gonna happen. And so I guess whatever the villains here were worried about seems to be coming true. But it's still a great story. And what is this going? This is issue 5, so I imagine it's wrapping up next issue.
It is, yeah. It'd probably be oversized if I had to guess too, because that's usually
But it looks like we're gonna get some sort of showdown here at the end. I don't know who he's gonna be fighting, but it's still good stuff.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it as well. I mean, a lot of great action, great Raphael Albuquerque art. Who's also been, I guess, over on Superman Unlimited lately, but we have stopped reading that. But I do love his stuff. He probably had this in the can before that, if I had to guess. But I absolutely adore the first Huck miniseries. I love this character. I love this world. I think Millar's really good at pacing, I would say, and there's a lot of really great action in this one, and the whole way through this story has been very interesting. So I'm looking forward to see how it all wraps up. So hopefully he doesn't drop the ball there in the last issue, but otherwise I think it's another solid Huck miniseries, and I'm interested.
Like even this issue, while I was reading it, like I thought it was like a short issue or something because before I knew it, the freaking story, like the issue was over. I'm like, what the heck? I kind of freaking leafed through it again, make sure I didn't miss anything. But I guess it was a regular sized issue, but it just had my attention all the way through.
Yeah.
I'd give this a 4.
Same. Yeah, 4 out of 5. Next up, we got Rook Exodus number 7.
Yeah, so this is my first sort of foray into this Rook world. And I believe this is just coming back from taking a little bit of a break. And I don't know if it's starting a new arc or what's going on here. But it is very welcoming to new readers. They do explain they go over everything again, what's going on in this world. I hear a lot of good things about this. I still can't see it myself personally. But this art is freaking, this Jason Fabok guy. I might be looking through back issues, and if I see his name on something, I'll definitely pick it up if I see that in a dollar bin. I don't know how DC or Marvel got to get this guy back somehow. He's got to be freaking drawing some heroes again. But otherwise, yeah, these wardens are, I think now the rogue wardens or the good wardens they're all trying to come together to build some sort of world engine to save the world that they're on. And the one person that knows how to fix this world engine, he seems to be sort of lost in his helmet. And it's his daughter that's going after him to try and kind of bring back his sanity or something. So going to help him out. It's an interesting story, but I've yet to see its greatness though. But for a comeback issue, maybe I'm asking too much too soon. But maybe I'll keep an eye on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of a tough sell of sorts. Like, I don't know what it is. It's missing a little something. I think the idea that they're connected to these animals through their helmets, like their avatars or something, is kind of a weird one. I don't know. I agree. The highlight of this series is definitely the Jason Fabok art. And then I thought I was behind a couple of issues from the last time, but I feel like this book has been off the shelves for such a while. I actually think I may have read the last 6 issues and maybe I forgot because I wasn't lost at all, like you said. And I also feel like even if I did miss like maybe the last issue or whatever, I did read at least 4 or 5 of those 6 issues, let's say, prior to this. And not really a lot has happened or changed about the story in itself. Like it hasn't moved forward all that much. I will say, it does actually, I could see that this takes place in the same world as Geiger. I will say that. So I think that's kind of cool. Like there is definitely an opportunity for something like that. Because these guys are off on their own planet or whatever in this one. So like, I just feels like if this ghost machine is all maybe taking place within like the same world, I don't think it's that much of a stretch to think that this takes place in the same world as Geiger does. So I think that's actually a good thing. I think it's kind
of on the same planet.
No. That's what I mean. Like it's
like the same timeline.
Yeah, or this could be even in the future past Geiger, but we also know Geiger's in the future. So I'm just saying this could be happening on a planet outside of Earth, that like where Geiger's taking place for all we know. I just think it fits in the whole world, I would say, the tone of it, let's say.
But I still don't understand these wardens. Like why when they're trying to make this planet, why are they giving all these people these powers for these animals? Like that doesn't make any sense.
It's like they ditched the whole idea of doing this, and then instead they left them there for 2 years. I
don't even know why they gave them these powers to control the animals on this world, or to see. Like they don't even control the animals; they just can kind of see through them. Like
I think it was somewhat more explained in the first arc, but not to the point where I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's
what you're.
It's a nice idea, but it doesn't make sense why they would do that.
Exactly. What you're pointing out is, I think, the flaw of the series. It's like almost like a half-baked idea here that we're witnessing here with really good art. And like, I want to give Johns more credit than that, but I realistically, that's how I think he is in this series. I think like the way more thought out. Like it seems like he's putting all his brain power into Geiger right now. Right? You know what I mean, if I had like, that's a much more fleshed out, interesting story I think, that we're getting over there than this. And I can't speak to the other one that's still going there, Red Coat, but I've heard really good things about that. Anyways, the cool thing at the end that happens here, though, is that dude that they're going to try to track down, her father there, she falls into this like snake pit or so, no, sorry, spider pit.
Oh yeah, and then there's I guess the spider warden is down there.
Yeah, so she looks
looks cool.
Yeah, right here, really cool. So yeah, I mean, it's good for a flip through, but like Chris said, I don't know if I'm going to stick with it this time around either. I don't know. It's hard because the story, I want to like it more than I do. That's for sure. So the art's great though. I can't say anything bad about the art, but I'm with you. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75 though. It's good stuff.
No, I'd probably go 3.5 because I'm still not totally into everything that's going on in the story, but the art's great. Next up. All right, Chris. Book I've been asking you to check out the last couple of issues that you missed, and I think you read them all to catch up for the show here today. What do you think of this? Cheetah and Cheshire rob the Justice League.
Well, I can see why it's right up your alley. They're doing everything you like. Every trope you want is in here. And I do like how it's sort of tied to this, to that, whatever, the all-in special or whatever. And kind of like how all the superheroes lost their powers. And I don't know who they put them in the power bank. So now inside the watchtower, they have this power bank with all the, I don't know, all the signatures of these superpowers there, kind of available to reseat people if they lose their powers. I don't know what that's about. I couldn't see them doing it, but they've done it, and that's what it is. And they put together this team to go steal it. I like the team. I like this Clarion kid with this cat. That's pretty good. And who's that? And he has some crush on that strong girl or something. It's okay. It's good, fun stuff. And, don't they go to the Justice League or go to the Watchtower? And it's almost like what was that? Like Star Wars, where they have the old code, but it still checks out. We'll let them in, and I don't know. That's okay. It's a fun read.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say they go to the place that Ferris Air or whatever, like I think that's like the Green Lantern, like where he used to work, like fly airplanes. Like they go there because they're the ones that do
fly the Watchtower.
Yeah, on the Watchtower. Yeah, you're right. It does have all the tropes I really dig, and that's why I like this. I think the Nicole art is Scott art is good, and I like
that Sideways character too.
Well, so the funny thing about that is I'm so happy that they thought to use that character, because they even make reference to it in this where they're like, what, is everybody a Justice League member now? And they're like, pretty much, we got to find like the weak link. And that Sideways character is honestly like the most perfect character they could have used for that, because like he's like one of these characters that they launched like a few like miniseries of new characters, like I don't know, like 10 years ago or something, and that literally have never showed up again in any book that I've seen. So like the fact that they use that character here as like a reference to say like, yeah, this character's still around and within the DC universe, I thought was just really smart of Greg Rucka, the writer here, because I swear I don't feel like I've seen that character past his original series that happened like years ago. But it was just one of those characters I don't think that kind of stuck around. But here he is in this book, right? So I agree with you. Clarion is one of my favorite characters. Like my favorite character out of these, because if these other characters have been pre-established, they've been barely ever used, I feel like. So you had to kind of, in this issue, they kind of reference where they were from or where the relations are to maybe people within the DC universe. But Clarion, he's been around for a while. I do quite like that character just because he's like one of those more like supernatural type characters, which I dig. And the whole idea of the cat being able to talk to him and stuff, I thought there was some funny moments with the cat. And then at the end of it, it looks like Clarion was meeting up with some villains, Black Adam included, to maybe let them in on the plan.
Yeah, looks like you got to double cross him or something.
Yeah. So, yeah, I dug this. I mean, yeah, this is basically the let's figure out how we're going to break in there, like Ocean's 11 style type issue in this one. So, that, you know me, I'm a fan of a good caper like this, a good setup of a mission like this to pull off like a heist. And I like the characters involved. It's a fun book. I think that if a lot of people just see the title of it are going to miss out on this, and I had fun with it. What'd you give this?
Yeah, I think I'll give it a 3.75. It looks like shit's going to hit the fan now that all those villains are going to be introduced into the story. Yeah. And, it makes a tough job even worse now.
Yeah, I can't help but give it a 4. It probably is more of a 3.75 out of 5, but I'm really digging just like the whole idea that this book exists. I like it a lot. So, yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. And then next up, you got Absolute Superman number 12.
I got that. It's a sick cover for Absolute Superman, to say that much.
Yeah.
For a cover like this, I was expecting some big things out of this. I thought to be a big showdown. You know, they got these freaking giant villains. You know, you saw the, you know, you see what's going on in Batman. You know, you think, okay, maybe, you know, that's going to kind of set the tone for this absolute universe. But what I think Superman just escaped from, I guess, Ra's al Ghul there, and he
No,
drops off,
Brainiac. He was in with Brainiac.
or Brainiac, or yeah, whoever was kind of holding him there, and he takes, doesn't he take Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen down to Smallville, right?
Yep.
And he drops them off there. And I guess one of the storylines is them kind of just trying to get back to civilization. They end up going into some diner, and everybody in the diner sort of recognizes them. And whether, you know, the background people, they all have kind of scowls on their faces, and you think they're going to turn them in. And of course, you know, they go, "Well, we know who you are. Oh, you're an enemy to Lazarus." And then, of course, they all break out in smiles after. It's like, "Oh, any enemy of Lazarus is a friend to us." And I think it was Lana Lang that was the waitress there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, she's got the shotgun under the table and all that sort of stuff. So I thought that was all fun business. And, you know, it was nice to see that the town's going to rally around them to try and help Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. You know, you figure if Lazarus sends a truck down there or something with a couple goons, they might take care of business. They might be able to kind of take care of business. I'm not sure what Superman was up to. Oh, this is what I didn't like about this. How can this guy be talking to a freaking AI like it's his father? Like, really, at the end of the day, that's one trope I'm starting to really dislike. All this AI stuff that I talk to like real people. Like, you know, he's like freaking moaning. Like when he was a little kid, he's moaning and groaning to the cape that he has to take a bath in lava or something. It's like, what are you doing? And, you know, the same thing's going on in, I guess, in the new Batman with Alfred being an AI. But anyways, that's besides the point. So I didn't really enjoy that too much. But I think at the end of this one too, doesn't Lazarus freaking bring out the boom here, and they're gonna like shut down this town, and they're like,
yeah,
they're bringing everybody. It's not like, you know, we're just gonna send a couple Jeeps here. Like they're sending an army down here. So that was interesting, and I like seeing that happening. But I want the stuff to happen quicker. Maybe I'm just impatient.
No, I totally agree with you. That's what I said earlier too. I had hinted when we were talking about Absolute Evil, how it seems that finally something big's about to happen here, and it's been really dragging its feet. I just think that this book has continued the pace of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, the whole second arc, where we're like, okay, some interesting stuff is actually really happening here. Because I have liked the second arc more than I like the first arc of this book, where I ended up dropping it in issues, and I was like, I don't know about this one, but we kept reading it. And there's been some great stuff between the Brainiac stuff, the setup of Ra's al Ghul and Lazarus. And finally, in this issue, 12 issues in, all 3 of these people are together and seeming like the characters that we know and love. There's Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and Superman in some respects there. And like you said, there's a great scene with them at the diner there. And the cape thing's kind of cool. I agree with you that it's a bit much, like, but it is kind of neat in a way. Like, I don't think he needs to be talking to somebody, like you said, like that is overused. And I've had enough of these flashbacks already. Just like tell me what's going on with the present day stuff in this book. But there is still a lot of really good things going on too. That's the thing with this book. Like it's a little frustrating to me, and it is still my least favorite out of the 3 that started this line. But there is some solid things happening here, and the way that it ended, I'm looking forward to see what happens next. Yeah. And like the way that they've been building it up, even in Absolute Evil with Ra's al Ghul, it seems interesting what's happening here. So I'm definitely going to continue reading it for the
time. I feel like if nothing happens in the next issue, I'm going to drop it, and then freaking by the time my issues through solicitation come back, then it's going to get good again. That's what happened last time.
Yeah, it's been a little inconsistent in that sense. Like I said,
they're like 3 on, 3 off.
Yeah, that's why I said 2 steps forward, 1 step back constantly throughout the whole story, where it's just like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Oh, no, we're not. Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
We're gonna go talk about the past again. You know, we'll freaking talk about Red Dust.
Where Batman has basically been like full stop.
Once that second arc started for Batman, I might have to go reread the first arc, but once that second arc started, that was like freaking balls to the walls all the way through.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one here, I'm giving it 3.5. It's still good stuff, but I need more.
Yeah, I guess 3.5 is 5 out of 5 as well. Yeah, I agree. I didn't. The things I liked in this issue, I did really like though. But yeah, there was some stuff I didn't love either that kind of dragged it down as a reading experience. So I'll go 3.5 out of 5. Next up, we got Batman #2.
It's Batman #2. Yeah.
Nice cover.
Yeah, nice. I just got the A cover.
Same.
Well, I guess they really did reboot freaking Batman here. I think, or even both of them. This one was a little bit more focused on Robin. He doesn't he stop, or that there's some guys robbing a truck, and he kind of puts the kibosh on that, and he takes one of the guy, one of the robbers run away, he chases them down, and then he finds out that the robber is just stealing baby formula. It's like, oh, come on, really, guys, let's go. And then the cops sort of chase him down, and then now he's trying to flee. He gets freaking winged, and they capture him, and they put him in the back of the freaking paddy wagon full of all these villains that or goons that Robin just freaking kind of put the boots to. So they're all trying to put the boots to him, and then even though he starts getting the upper hand, the guy driving the truck, he's like, oh, I'll give him, I forget what he calls it, or he gives him a rough ride, or basically just, I'll give him the business in there. And then kind of shakes him around in there, and Batman finally shows up to sort of help him out. And of course, you open the door, and Robin's already taking care of business. But then the cops come out, and I guess they're sort of following this Vandal Savage lead, and they want to prove, I guess, to Vandal Savage that they don't need these super cops coming in. And one cop wants to take both Batman and Robin into custody, and he draws his gun on them. Which I don't see, which is such a big deal. Like Batman's been able to freaking take care of stuff like this, no problem. But then his partner draws his gun on his partner, and then I guess he's telling him to get a little bit of a standoff there. And they I guess the good cop sort of shoots the bad cop, and he goes down. Batman sort of checks on him, and then another new Batman, I guess, he just kind of checks on him and thinks he's okay, but out of it, and he turns back to him, and I guess that guy comes to, and then he freaking blasts Batman in the back of the head. And then this, I guess, goes to another story in the beginning. That my favorite flashback there with Robin trying to learn how to drive a standard car, and he gets frustrated because he's practiced all day and he couldn't get it. And it seems like he still couldn't get it in this one here because he had trouble driving the Batmobile. I do like how they have the Batmobile with like 13 gears, and
yes,
and it's like all of these whatever, like 1 to 8 and 9, 10, 11 were for like quantum gears, and the secret 13th gear you didn't tell them about. So that's sort of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Overall, it's okay, but I just got to get I got to wrap my head around this this new Batman, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing in the sense that if someone were to say they don't like this book or complain about it because it seems out of character or the voice of Batman is not what they expect, I agree with that because it is very different. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It is kind of refreshing to read a Batman book that reads a little bit differently. Whether or not that's going to stand the test of time and it's going to be an enjoyable run, I think it's still yet to be seen here. This issue was fine, but I've been enjoying it so far, but I just like you said, you got to kind of get used to the way that this is being written. This is definitely does not read like this the last couple of
this is not like Alpha Batman that can do anything and do everything. Like this guy, this isn't the guy that jumped from the moon,
right?
And came down with using his underwear as a face shield or something,
right, right. And then I have continued to like the little thing that Matt Fraction's kind of come up with, where certain scenes he'll mention the fact that there's a gadget used and kind of like what the gadget is that's being used in that moment. He kind of gives some realism, I guess, to the fact that these guys are doing crazy things, but there's this is what they're using, even though these are made up gadgets. I like his approach so far. It is definitely different, but like I said, if that's a deal breaker for somebody, I think this is in the same area almost how I feel about the new Captain America Zdarsky run right now, where I'm like, this is seeming like a very different type of Captain America run, and And I'm still kind of not sure if I'm loving it or not. I'm definitely enjoying it. I would say I'm enjoying this more than that, but I just like, yeah, it does feel very different, which I think is a good thing, honestly. But we'll see. Like a few issues in, I might be like, I don't really like this Batman run, right? I don't know. For now, I'm digging it. I also was reminded that Jorge Jimenez has literally been on the last 3 Batman runs. He started with James Tynion, and he continued with Chip Zdarsky, and here he is as the main artist for Matt Fraction. So like, kudos to him, because he's
for sure. They got to be paying to do this, because without him, this would be a lot tougher sell. Like if this was like that Mike Hawthorne guy or something, this would be a tough sell.
It continues to look great, and I'm happy that he's stuck around through all these different writers.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's that as well. So yeah, what'd you give this?
Yeah, I'll give this run some rope at least. So I'm giving this 3.75. I did like we saw the Batmobile all freaking decked out there on the side view. That's a pretty sick looking car.
Yeah, I also give it a 3.75 out of 5. And yeah, I'm also going to give it some time. And that was a cool line. You just reminded me about where he's like, well, what does that all mean? It means I have the coolest car in the world. He basically showing off about how, when he's talking to Robin about how he has because he's talking about all the gears and all this kind of stuff, right? But yeah, fun stuff. Next up, New Avengers number 5.
Yeah, I've just been reading this online, and this is once again another comic where you kind of have to let go of any preconceived notions of all these characters. They're fun characters, they're doing some crazy things here. I think here they're trying to take on Reed Richards, and Reed Richards are this evil Reed Richards. I don't know what they call him.
Yeah.
But he's done some crazy stuff to himself, and I guess whatever this town he's into, he kind of bathed them all in cosmic rays. So all the people in there sort of have these Fantastic Four type powers. But you know who I wish was doing the art for this? This is a freaking, what's that, Steven Segovia. This is like right up his alley, like a team thing. Like, the art isn't, I wouldn't say it's bad. I think still it's decent, but if Steven Segovia was out there drawing this, I think this could knock it up a few notches, take it into that Hellions and sort of level.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't mind it. I still like the fun sort of interactions between the team, especially Bucky and Black Widow. They seem to be getting busy after every mission. They're just doing a debrief in private with each other. And I don't know how the Hulk is fitting into this story, but somehow he's in there, and somehow he's gone. But they kick the hell out of freaking Reed once they get him down on his luck, and everybody takes a swing.
They to the point where they Black Widow like final headshots him at the end. It just kills him. They're all just like, yeah, we're okay with killing. So he's like, no, you.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I know you guys. You won't do it. I deserve to live. I'm alive. And like, nope, bang, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and like, look who you're dealing with: Carnage, Namor, Black Widow. All these people have killed. Sorry to spoil that for you, but sorry to break it to you, but this is not the Avengers you want to be dealing with.
Yeah, and then I guess they set up the next few issues with Tony Storm, Iron Apex, kind of, calling in, saying, "Hey guys, I got the team together. We're coming after you now." So maybe they're going to up the ante these next few issues. So it's fun reading. I'm looking forward to more.
This is definitely, again, like I said about the Cheshire Cheetah book earlier, this is another, I feel like, under the radar book that's been coming out. We've been enjoying. That's a little bit offbeat, weird kind of like story that they're telling here. And then, some of these series, they get to do this kind of stuff because they don't have a lot of eyes on them, maybe, right? Like I'm sure this isn't a high seller. And the only shame is, like where Chris said, is that they're not putting top tier artist talent on this. The art's fine, it's serviceable, but I agree, if you put another really good artist on this book, maybe it would be elevated to like something that's even greater than what we're experiencing here. But I think this is kind of surviving on the fun story that's being told here. This is that page though in each panel where they're just whooping his ass here, which I really quite enjoyed. But this is still a really fun book. I'm having a good time with this one. So, I mean, if this is another like series that's going to only last 10 issues, I'll be here for another 5. I'll say that much. Yeah. So, and then it ends with like the possibility that Black Widow was the one that got the Jackal to move forward with these clones that they beat in the first place, which seems weird. So I guess we'll find out what that's all
No,
about.
isn't that the Black Widow clone?
Oh, okay, you're right.
Yeah, so the Jackal cloned the Black Widow. Now you're gonna have like a Black Widow on Black Widow. I hope.
My bad. The way that it made it look like was that she was the one behind it. Okay, you're right. That must have been.
Yeah, because then they just voted the leader of the team, unless I'm wrong, or
No.
maybe that could be up for debate. But
Yeah, I guess we'll see next issue. But yeah, so good stuff. What'd you give this?
yeah, I'm talking. I'm giving this a 4.
I like this series a lot. I'm with you, man. I'll join you on the 4 out of 5. Yeah, it's good stuff. And then Ultimate Wolverine number 10.
Oh, Ultimate Wolverine 10. Of course, got to get this stuff. 8 covers. This is another great comic again.
Yeah.
They're you know, I think maybe with Ultimate Universe being more of a shortened or, you know, a limited sort of run, they got to really move things along here. Because I think in the last issue, they just broke into that island and escaped there. And now you have whatever the Colossus and Magic, you know, trying to figure out what's going on. And I guess they figured out how their base has been a secret. You know, it's kind of like an empty part of the map. And everybody's like, you know, we have spies there saying, you know, there's things there. So if this is empty, this is where their base is. And then you have Omega Red saying, okay, I'm ready to go. It's time to fight. And, you know, anytime Omega Red's involved in a fight, it's always bad news. You know, he's always been a top tier villain or hero at sometimes. And he makes his way down there, and it looks like they just freaking kick his ass.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I guess the leader of the opposition, I guess that's Colossus's brother. And then he sends Colossus, you know, a package with a note. And he's saying, you know, if this is the way it's going to be, or, you know, if this is what things are coming down to, you know, don't send, this guy? Don't send a Rosovich to do Rasputin's job.
Yeah.
And then you open up the box and it's freaking Omega Red's head in there. I'm like, whoa.
7. It's 7.
Let's go.
What's in the box? Yeah. Pretty much the end of this, right? Yeah. I loved it.
And they got that story with Sabretooth trying to save Artie and Leech or something. I don't know what that's about, but I guess got to put something in there.
Yeah, this issue was great. I agree. This is probably my favorite issue in the last few issues, honestly. I quite enjoyed this. Oh yeah, the Muramasa blade makes an appearance. Of course, something from Wolverine's history shows up in this, and that's Sabretooth gives that to him at the start of this. You know, the blade, the you know, it's the same like just the regular one from Marvel Universe, where it's like that's the one weapon that can take out somebody with the regenerative, you know, abilities like him and Sabretooth and stuff have. And everything's really coming together here in a great way. And I know that they are. I think you said you believe you heard that this is going to be continuing past a certain point, right? And I'm really happy about that. I hope it does, because this has been a really great series. Outside of Ultimate Spider-Man, this is definitely my favorite of the Ultimate books at this point. So, you know, since Ultimates has been so shit the last little while now, this yeah, this has been great. So yeah, I agreed. Good issue. What'd you get?
You got to read those little kind of clips at the end too, whatever, those little dossiers.
Oh yeah,
because those are fun to read. You know, one of explains, you know, that Sunfire's all upset that the Maramusa blade's been stolen, and I think there's another one, I guess, about Omega Red. So those are all fun to read too. And for this one, I give this 4.25. Is that in the box? That's worth plus 0.25 for sure.
Yeah, agreed. 4.25 out of 5.
I want to see Colossus get in the mix. Thrown too long.
Yeah, there's a scene with him opening the box there. I had a lot of fun with this one this week too. I also gave 4.25 out of 5. The only thing I was disappointed about this issue was like how fast I read it, because I was like, oh man, I want more, right? That's how excited I was. Why I flew through this one, right? So good stuff. Venom 250.
Venom 250. I got the Carlos Gomez variant cover.
Look at that. Oh, nice. Back up a bit. Yeah, nice one. With Null in the background. Very cool.
Null in the background, and I don't know. I know about this Null business. I think I've just been enjoying the kind of the soap opera that's been going on. And a lot of this, the first story wasn't done by Carlos Gomez, it was somebody else, but it was okay. And it's just a lot of the whoever that was, that a Kree guard or something, or trying to escape.
Yeah, this guy.
And the symbiotes are all after him, and it looks like Null is back in place somehow. You know, I wasn't part of that Null story in the beginning. You know, I hear he's like a freaking badass and like a like god tier sort of villain or threat.
Yep.
But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And then, you know, whatever was going on with Mary Jane, none of it was too memorable. And what, Hela shows up at the end. It looks like Hela's going to be pulling the strings on Null. Is that what's going on here?
Yes, she had him imprisoned, it seems like.
Yeah, or she has him in prison. So the direction of the story, I can't say I'm a fan of, but we'll see where it goes.
I agree with you, Chris. I'm less interested in the direction of where they're headed now. The highlight of this issue, funny enough, was, for me at least, Mary Jane trying to go and do auditions for her acting career.
Oh, yeah.
And them telling her basically how much of a flake that she is always, and how she's missed all these auditions, and how her career, the direction of it, which is all things that did happen in the comics. She's like off-Broadway plays, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, it's just like, you know, like you're a model. Like she basically just like, make up your mind. Like, what are we doing here? You're wasting my time, kind of thing. So yeah. I kind of liked that. Otherwise, yeah.
Well, I do like then she's walking out of there on that stupid Parker Luck, and she's freaking, she's got it all over her.
Yeah. Otherwise, the ex there is sitting there trying to find a new place to live, and Paul there, and then you got the angsty teenager who's pissed at his dad, who's the symbiote, like inside of Mary Jane. Yeah. So it is strange, and I'm gonna miss. As long as they keep doing more of that, I'll probably stick around, but I might jump off depending on how the next couple of issues go. Because listen, Null was a great villain, but he was also like the central villain and part of the Donny Cates Venom run, which was great. Ryan Stegman. I don't really need him here in this Venom run. Like I
don't need him either.
I don't know if you caught this. Terry Dodson too drew these Mary Jane scenes. But I don't know if you caught this. There was a Jay and Silent Bob in the background of
I saw them in the background.
You're like hugging. I don't know what's going on there. And like Jay's, you know, got his tongue out at Mary Jane there.
Yeah, I thought they'd be doing something. At least have a line, like kind of, you know, say whatever they say, or I don't know. It was fun to see him there.
Snoochie Boochies or something, right? But anyways, this was fine, but I'm definitely less interested in this. I agree with you. The drama of the wackiness of the Venom series prior to this has been fun. Now that they've renumbered it back into like Venom proper, I think it's going to be less fun, honestly. So we'll see what happens, though.
Yeah, wasn't there a second story? I don't even remember what that
was. There was. Here, we can jump to that just to give a little preview of it. Yeah, we got Madame Mask that shows up in this. And yeah, this is Null imprisoned. There's Hela. And this is the second story, which was like, I guess, an Eddie Brock story about when he first post-separation. Yeah, it's basically just a rehashing of him now without like the Venom symbiote. Maybe this is where he got left prior to being in the predicament that he is. Like currently, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what.
I don't know. That didn't interest me at all. I wish that Carlos Gomez doing the first story. They could have got the guy doing this one here.
Yeah.
But for whatever, a 250 issue, I got to give it a 3.5.
Yeah. 3.5 out of 5. And then finally here we got Amazing Spider-Man number 13 this week. That's got the cover. Pepe Larraz.
Yeah. What's this? Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy number 13. Is that what this is here?
Sure felt like it.
Sure felt like it. I do like the way Joe Kelly freaking writes Rocket Raccoon and the rest of the crew, but I know what Spider-Man's role in this Guardians of the Galaxy is, because he can't be the funny guy. He's supposed to be the straight guy, or the straight man in this team, I guess, or the voice of reason. And, you know, he's still trying to quip his quips. Maybe he should stop quipping. You know, just be the straight man for once here and let everybody else around him kind of go to town. Because he put together a crazy team here. You got Rocket Raccoon. There's that chick there or something that's freaking smashing.
Yeah.
And the guy, the villain that he's fighting, or that he was fighting, somehow he's got him to fight on their side.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's not bad. It's a good story. It's a fun read. I don't know if it's a Spider-Man story.
Exactly.
And they're kind of floating around, and I do like there's some banter between them, like, hey Peter, how come how come you're not going back to Earth? He's doing all these little odd jobs, and then he kind of throws it right back to Rocket. It's like, oh well, why aren't you rushing back to the Guardians of the Galaxy? I don't know really what's going on with Rocket, but I guess he's up to no good somewhere, not in the good graces either. But either way, it's still a fun read, and I guess at the end there, he's talking to whoever that scientist was on the ship, and kind of telling him, okay, it's time, we got to work together. You got to make me stronger, because I guess that Hellgate threat is still kind of looming in the background. But why they didn't kill that guy right off the bat, or those other guys, Rocket or whoever else was there, they've been torturing him all this time.
Well, that's true to that's Spider, that's Peter Parker, right? Like it is very true to
true to Peter Parker, but not to the other ones. They would have blown him away.
There is a whole scene where they are talking.
I know they're trying to, but he can't be there the whole time.
Here's the thing, and I just said this earlier about the Batman run, about how like some people are saying, it may sound out of character because he's trying to write Batman a little bit of a different way. This is like almost the same in the sense that this is the opposite, I should say, in the sense that this is like putting Peter in a situation and a story that's unlike what we would normally be expecting of Peter Parker, but the essence of the character is still the same. So I got to give him credit for that, because like his whole idea of rehabilitating this guy and getting him to like be part of the team and like getting them to do the right thing, let's say, that is very Spider-Man. It is like, and like not wanting to kill anybody. Like, as much as I wanted to dislike this, like you said, because it feels weird and it doesn't feel like a Spider-Man comic, I got to give him some props in the sense that he's trying to tell a different type of story that we haven't seen in a Spider-Man comic in that sense. Like, like it is very strange. Like I said, I had problems at times reading this, but then I'm like, yeah, like you said, it feels like a Guardian story, but the essence of the character is still there. Peter Parker is still Peter Parker. Spider-Man's still Spider-Man. So if the whole point of this story is to make him get leveled up and come back more powerful somehow, I guess that's a story worth telling somewhat.
Yeah. And the Symbi, I know what that. Yeah, Symbi's like Groot there. He just freaking runs around. I can't really control him.
Yeah, that was cool. Like he like came off of him like unsuspectedly and attacked that guy. It's like a sneak attack of some sort, which was kind of fun. And again, it looks great. It's Pepe Larraz, right? Yeah. The comic looks great. So I'm still digging it. I do think it's odd at times. I do take pause and I'm like, this is kind of weird, but I'm still enjoying it overall. But it is, like you said, I'm not sure it's a Spider-Man comic, but in that sense either. So, but yeah, what'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75. It's still good stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe not my cup of tea, but it's still fun to read. And why didn't they have Joe Kelly in that freaking Batman Deadpool? He should have been writing the main story, not freaking Jed. Was it Jed McKay that did it?
Zeb Wells.
Or Zeb Wells. Even more than Zeb Wells.
Wait, which one are you talking about? The Deadpool?
No, the Batman Deadpool crossover. Was that Jed McKay that wrote the main story?
No, that was Zeb Wells who did the Deadpool Batman.
Yeah, why didn't they freaking throw Joe Kelly there?
I don't know.
He's got the greater voice for Deadpool. I think his jokes are funny.
He does. Yeah, I agree. That probably would have been a good fit. Although I did enjoy it. I gave it my favorite.
I know you enjoyed it, but you're wrong. What can you do?
Wow, way to bring it back. We're 200 episodes in almost, Chris. How dare you? This is how comfortable you've gotten it.
Well, you can't be right every time, Niko.
Yeah, fair enough. Listen.
No, just joking.
It's just my personal opinion. What can I say?
That's wrong. What do you want?
No. This guy. Whatever, let it go. All right, Chris, what are you reading next week?
For the 200th issue. Let's see what we'll the 200th episode.
Yeah.
Let's see what's on the docket, or what's on. Let's see. Oops. What's going on here? Let's kind of preview this. So I think I got a few comics coming in. And I'm happy to say my LCS has been kind of getting me all the comics I'm asking for now. So
good. They're back.
Hopefully they're back on track, and freaking hope the Canada Post doesn't mess them up though.
Uh-oh.
I don't think it should. I think they get that stuff
Distributors.
shipped in by courier or something.
Yeah, they use couriers. They don't use Canada Post.
But anyways, yeah, looking forward to Spider-Man Wolverine 6. I'll probably read this amazing X-Men 1. I don't know about this amazing Spider-Man Torn. I want to read it, but I hope it's not good. Marvel Knights Punisher, looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
And what's this, World of Revelation? Who's doing that?
Jed McKay, I think.
That's Jed McKay too, so maybe. Oh, is that the action? Is that the sort of the series proper?
No, I think it's going to be branching off into that's a series proper. It's that one, and then there's the Amazing X-Men, which is the other Jed McKay one. Yeah, I think that's a series proper. That one.
I'll maybe take a look at this binary with this Return to Planet Hulk 1, see what that's about. And Strange Tales, isn't that like sort of the who's going to be? Oh no, it's
Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. Did you say it's called World of Revelation?
Yeah.
No, this is the Al Ewing miniseries. Never mind. Sorry, it's called something like that. The other Jed McKay one, but that's this is the Al Ewing series. If it's the World of Revelation.
Where did everything go? Let's see it for Image. Transformers 25. Looking forward to that. I want to see what that looks like.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't really seen any sort of previews of anything. What's going on? He doesn't even have a cover. That's crazy. I figured he'd have a cover for sure. Just gotta see what he's tasting. But Geiger 19. Let's see, anything else from, I think that might be it from Image. And I don't know, my DC doesn't seem to be loading up here, so maybe you can go through your DC stuff and I'll let you know what you're getting.
Sure, I can point out some things I think you check out. So Nemesis Forever #2 comes out next week. As well. This is for October 8th, by the way. These are books that we're going to be talking about for October 8th. Then you got Absolute Batman 13.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I got a couple covers for that.
Yeah. Then you got, let me see what else we got here. Honestly, not too much else. I think either of us are going to be reading here for DC. That may be the big. Oh, DC KO, of course, comes out this week. That we'll be talking about as well.
I think Danny Warren Johnson is doing a whole series of covers for that. If that's the case, I'm getting all his covers then.
Oh, is he? Nice. Yeah.
So.
I got one.
Got his first one for sure. And the second one.
For DCKO, though, also stay tuned. I have one regular issue and then I have one blind bag. I got one blind bag for that. So,
they have blind bags for DCKO?
Yes. Yeah. So I got one of them just, for the hell of it, just for the show here.
You'll have to
I have to look into that. So yeah, that's that. Oh, I'm going to be reading Superman Kryptonite Spectrum #3. That's it for DC. And then what else do we got here? Image, definitely what you said there. Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #12. Does that come out? No, Journeys #2. That's the old black. That's the one that they're doing. That's like a reprint of an older series that's in black and white. That's been great. #12 isn't out next week though. Let's see here. And then, I think you said Geiger comes out. No, I don't have Geiger on my list.
Oh,
no. Conclusion of Farmhand comes out #26. Oh, Super Creep Show Special #1, which is like a one-shot in the Creep Show stuff, but it's like all superhero related. They have like a homage Dark Knight Returns type cover with the Creep Show guy. So I picked that up, of course. Transformers 25. Yeah, that's a huge release next week for sure. I'm very, very much looking forward to that. And then Marvel, that's Image. Not too many things next week. Maybe I'll read Torn then because it's not as big of a week. Oh, this comes out next week. Amazing X-Men comes out next week, Chris. The Jed McKay one. So I'm definitely picking that up. I think I have a cover, a really good cover for that too, if I'm not mistaken. I might check out might digitally read some of these other X books then are coming out. World Revelation, Binary, maybe. We'll see what's going on with those. There's an Imperial War one-shot, Imperial Guardians. We're still putting those out before the conclusion. Yeah, Long Shots comes out next week. That's one I actually do want to read. There's Laura Kinney Sabretooth. I'm not as interested in that one. Marvel Knights Punisher, another big release, like you mentioned. Marvel Knights: The World to Come, number 3. I'm going to be reading. I've been reading that digitally. Also, there's what's this? Oh no, this isn't the She-Hulk book. Return to Planet Hulk. No, it's like one of those throwback ones. Spider-Man and Wolverine. Yeah, and then what's this? You said the Strange Tales. What is this all about?
No, I thought that was the new Doctor Strange, or not the.
Oh no,
the new Doctor Strange one, but I don't think it is.
no. Yeah, so that looks about it. Honestly, that's not too bad of a week next week. So yeah, that's what we're looking forward to picking up and reading next week. All right, Chris.
Favorite? All right, I don't think there's any surprises this week. Well, there we go. I'm gonna go with Ultimate Wolverine.
Yeah. So I'm also gonna go with Ultimate Wolverine. Yeah, I had the most fun reading this week, but a close second, the X-Men. Honestly, for me, I really liked this one. This Age of Revelation overture. The setup of this current stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna go also Ultimate Wolverine number 10 with you, Chris. Yeah, I think other than that, I think that's the only two that I would really in competition this week. I mean, I like
decent comics this week, but no blockbusters or anything.
No, I mean, of course, I like Cheetah and Cheshire Rob the Justice League as well, but I know that was not in the same contest as these other ones that I'm gonna give my favorite of the week to. I just enjoyed it, but. Yeah, but some other decent stuff this week that we talked about, obviously. Yeah, that was good. And Huck Big Bad World was good. And yeah. So some good stuff this week. But yeah, Ultimate Wolverine. There you go, guys. It's been a while, I feel like, since we got the same pick. So there you go. It must have been a good issue this week for that one. And make sure to stay tuned and check out next week's episode, though, guys. It is episode 200 of Comic Shop Talk, a big milestone there for us. And you can like and subscribe and hit that thumbs up button here for us. Make sure to check out the other videos and tell a friend who might like comics. Check out the show. Hit us up in the comments, all that good stuff. All right, Chris. We'll see you next week, my friend.
All right. See you next week.
Later.